So I wanted to show the difference between the crimpers that I received. I purchased the SN-02Cs from IWISS for some Molex connectors that I was doing for some automotive. And man, really enjoyed these. Did a really good job providing a good crimp on those connections. And so went out and bought the HS30Js for these insulated connectors that I normally do, but also it came with a really good set of cutters and a screwdriver to change it. But it's got other dies as well that you can do: insulated connectors, Molex connectors, uninsulated, so it's really nice because it gives you a good variety of applications just by changing out the dies. When I received them, they were okay, but don't have any resistance in the dies when they meet up. So it's very kind of a really loose fit, as you can see with the 28Bs that I have. It goes to lock, but then you got to really force it to get to full lock. And so they're really nice, firm application of pressure to the connectors. Whereas this one, it's pretty loose actually. So I contacted them and asked for just a replacement dies, thinking it was not giving enough pressure to the connection. Really helpful. They went ahead and sent me a replacement, but it was the SN-02C. And like this, I mean, they're interchangeable as well, but they don't work with the dies that I have. But these are for the smaller gauge insulated connectors. So you'll have a blue, red, and green connectors here. So I'll show the difference in the crimps there. So we'll do the 30Js. These dies just have a single dimple on the anvil, and you'll see that in the connection sleeve once you're fully crimped on it. So make sure we got a good seat and a crimp. Okay, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but anyways, there's a little dimple there in the sleeve showing the crimp. What I'll do is go ahead and do a butt splice as well, so we have an average of crimps from two different types of connectors with these pliers. So these are 18 to, I think 12 to 22, no, 22 to 18 gauge connections here. Just standard butt splices and spade connectors there. So again, a good dimple there on the crimp. So now get us some for the SN-02Cs. And again, much firmer lockup on these guys when you do a crimp. And I don't know if you can tell, but the amount that it closes down on the connector, it's much more positive and gives a much more solid crimp. So I really am enjoying the new ones. They make a good solid connection. Make sure So the SN-02Cs leave a 1.5 stamp on the connector end, and you can read that on both connections there, so, or both crimp sides. So we have the, I'll leave it this way. So this is done with this one, and these two are from the big ones here. We'll give those a pull, and immediately the big one fails on that one. Let's see if I can grip this and find out which side fails. Okay, so again, that provided more force there, but still the big side, the ones that were done with the the HS30Js, failed with both of those connections, while the ones that were crimped with the SN-02Cs held nice and firm and are still just super strong. And actually it just snapped the wires from where I had to pull with these here. But yeah, so you can see that the wires failed there, so from me having to pull on that first test. But anyways, much more improved, much better crimp. So if you guys are working with a lot of automotive stuff and you use these like pretty much exclusively, these are great pliers to get these wire crimps great. So really impressed with the two IWISS that I received thus far. This one here, you know, won't really have much use for it because the you know, it doesn't really provide much of a crimp, so I'm not sure if there was like a pivot wrong or just a slight defect on that to not apply the right pressure. But anyways, maybe they'll come in handy later on down the road with some other connections that I have. But as far as the insulated connectors go, these two right here are the ones to get, the SN-02C.